Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Let's start our today's session. All right. So, in our last session, we have seen up to this. We have discussed about the structure of the HTML file, right? And in that, we have discussed that HTML is our root tag. Then we have a two section. One is the head section, another one is the body section, right? Now, today, let's go ahead. Uh, as we know that any text editor can be used, right? So I have listed few well-known text editors, right? So you can use any of these, and the beauty of it is that there are different third-party plugins available, right? And with the use of that plugins, you can make your task very easy. Okay, right? So we are going for that now. So after discussing about the particular HTML file structure, we have a two kinds of elements, right? So now elements, if I speak elements or if I speak a tag, then you can understand, right? So here you can see that one is a block level element, another one is the inline element. Okay. So what is the difference between these two? So block level elements render to begin on a new line, and that is a by default, right? So whatever elements come under the block level category, okay, so that particular elements always begins with the new line, right? Suppose say for example, if I say a division tag, right? So if I go for a division tag, then if I write division, then I can write something over here, any element like whatever paragraph tag or whatever you can write, and slash division, right? So whenever I put a division tag, so division is a block level element, so always it begins with the new line, right? Suppose say if I use another division, then it will, suppose this particular code will display output in this line. Suppose if I go for second division, same division, then it will start output from this line, right? So always it begins with the new line. But inline tag, inline elements render on the same line, right? Suppose say for example span, right? So span tag, suppose if I'm writing something over here and I'm closing it, right? So the output will be in this line. Suppose if I use another span over here and then I write slash span, right? Then output will be from here. You can see that. Or if anything I'm writing over here, that will be started in a same line. Okay. So these are the two types of you can say structure we have. One is a block level, another one is the inline, right? So block level contains, may contains inline or other block level elements, right? So in a division, you can also write another division tag. This is permissible, right? And as I told you that for inline, it may contain other inline. So span, in that again you can write span, okay, right? So this way you can write it. Later on we'll see one example, so you will get the idea, better idea how this particular thing works. Okay. Third difference is block level mainly focuses on flow of the content. Mainly focuses on flow of the content. And inline elements are phrasing contents. These are the phrasing contents, right? So you can see that these are the particular difference between block level element and inline element. So this is the content model, how your content is laid out in your particular web page. Okay, right. Now, next we are going to discuss about a body tag, right? So as we know that body tag defines the okay, so body tag defines the particular area within a browser window. So whatever is going to display in this particular browser window, so that is defined within the body tag. Now, these are the three attributes you can set for the body tag, right? So first of all, a background, right? Suppose say for example, if you want to set a background image, if you are expert in Photoshop, right? And if you have designed a beautiful background file, right? One image you have designed. And if you want to put that image instead of color, right? Instead of setting the color, if you want to put the whole image in a background, then you can use this background property. So here URL means you have to provide the path, fully qualified path, right? So where actually you have store your image, right? So that path you have to provide in this particular URL. Okay. So you have to write background is equal to the particular URL. Okay. The second attribute is BG color, right? So instead of image, suppose if I want to go for the color, right? There are lots of colors available on the internet with the hexadecimal code, okay, with different names, right? So you can choose, you can pick any of that particular color to set the background of your web page, right? So that is specifically for the color selection. And text is equals to color means this particular attribute defines the overall color for your content, for your content, right? So here, these are the three attributes which are going to be used in our case, right? So let's jump onto the example. So for that, I have created one example, right? So in this particular example, you can see that how this particular thing is working. Okay, I think the font is visible, right? Now, as per our discussion, see over here, I have used these particular heading attributes, heading elements as usual. Now, what I want to perform over here, I want to change my body background color as a blue, right? So here, right now, I am removing this particular text equal to white, right? And I'm just saving it. And you can just see the preview. Over in a preview, it is not affected. So I just need to open it into the browser, right? So sometimes this may happen. So to see the actual output, you just move to the browser window, right? So here you can see this, my body background color is a blue set. Now, these particular heading tags are in a by default black color, but it is not looks good, right? So what I need to do, I just going to change the color of it. Text is equals to white, right? And now if I again go to the output, refresh, and now it looks good. It is noticeable, right? So whenever you define text equal to some color, then it will be applicable to the overall content text of the body. Remember this point, right? If you want a specific line to be colored, then you just need to go for the font color or CSS, right? Okay. Now, suppose say for example, I don't want the background color, right? So I'm just putting this line in the comment, okay? And I just remove this comment, okay? So what I did over here, that this is a good practice and you have to always remember this, right? So you have to create a separate folders for the images only. Suppose if you are using some style sheet, then create a folder CSS. If you are creating, if you are using some JavaScript, then always create a folder called JavaScript, right? And put all the similar files into that only, right? If you are going for audio, then you just create audio. If you are going to use some video, then just go for the video folder. So this way you have to manage your content, right? Okay, so here one images folder I have created, and that folder contains this background image too, right? So here, as my this HTML document currently is in this folder, so I can write this images slash background colored background2.jpg. Now suppose say for example, I am working in this folder and my image is in the E drive or whatever else D drive, right? So you have to provide the fully qualified path for that. Are we clear, guys? Right? So that thing you have to remember. But right now I am in a current folder. in my current folder, I have created images folder. And after that images folder, I have this particular image in that folder, right? So now I want to set a background color for my body area, right? So for that, instead of BG color, I just need to go for the background, right? And I just want my text to be white. Okay, so I'm going to save this code and let's open this code in a browser. Okay, so you can see the image size is very small. So that's why it is stretched over here like this. How we can fix this, we'll see later on. Okay, whenever we go for some stylings and all that, right? But right now, remember that according to your image size, it will be displayed over here. And it is displaying a white color because of our text equal to white. So these are the possible attributes you can set for the background. Okay, right? Now let's go ahead in our presentation. What we have next? Okay, we have coloring scheme, right? So how you can define the different color, how you can specify the color. So there are two ways to specify the colors, right? The first way is either you can just go for this naming convention. Okay, directly you can write the name of the color, or RGB component. So each pixel is the combination of red, green, and blue. These are the three combinations we have in each pixel, right? So you have to define this three color combination to generate a new color, right? So here we have 00 as the minimum level and FF is the highest level, right? So here 00, 00, 00, right? And if you are going to define this as a hexadecimal, then you have to put this sign compulsorily, right? So now what does this mean over here? Suppose if I'm writing 0000FF, so F represents the blue. So R, G, and B, right? So now this particular will set my color as a blue, right? Suppose if I want a red, then I can write red was the first one. So FF full 2R00, right? So you can put up any combination, and after 9, you have to, after 9 number digit, you have to go for A, B, C, D, E, F. Up to F you can go, right? So with the combination of 0 to 9 and A to F, you can generate a lots of color. You can generate a lots of color, right? So these are the particular color scheme you can just define, right? So we have defined color by name, and if you want to go for hexadecimal, then you have to go for hash sign, right? So here some of the particular colors you will have, right? So you can just go for it. Okay. The next important thing we are going to discuss is a meta tag, right? So up till now we have just talked about the particular meta tag. Meta tag is a data about data, right? It contains some information, but which kind of information it contains, right? So here in this particular example, I have listed out a few, right? Suppose say whenever you are searching any query like this, a population of India in a Google, right? So it shows some information. This is about the browser we are not interested in, but we are interested in this. So as we have discussed in our SEO section, right? Search engine optimization. So you are now able to define these terms each and every, right? So this is a particular title, meta title we have. This is the revision date where this particular actually document is revised, right? Now this is a meta keywords like India's 2019 population, right? And this is the particular description, meta description we have, right? So these are the very few informations, right? But apart from this, you can provide as a developer a lots of information to the search engines, right? So let's see one example so you can get the idea about it. So what kind of informations you can provide in a meta tag, right? So let's go to this and discuss about the meta tag. Okay, wonderful. Now here you can see that in this particular coding section, right? You can see in meta tag, you can define the character set, right? You can define two attributes, name and the content. These two attributes you have to define, right? So what are the possible names? What are the possible attributes you can define? So first of all, you can define the description. So is as the in example we have seen the description, right? In the content, you have to provide the actual value, right? So whatever description you want to write, then you can just provide with the content section, right? Now, second, I want to set the keywords, right? So suppose my web page is related with the particular tutorial of HTML, CSS, web development, then I can just put HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP, right? So these are the particular keywords, and these keywords are very much useful for the search engines, right? Suppose I want to provide the author information. So you can see over here, you just need to write name is equals to author, content, who is the author, so the name of the particular author. Next is a revised. So in our example, we have seen that revised date is there, right? So what is this? So web development, and here you just can provide the date of that particular revised document, right? So by this particular on this date, this document is revised, right? Another is a viewport related. First, I'm talking about related with the name, and this is a new one for the HTML5 that width equal to device width and initial scale equal to 1.0. 1.0 means 100%, right? So I hope you know the meaning of scaling. Scaling can be of 50%, 100%, 150, 200, right? Here it is in a point. So according to that, you have to map the points, right? 100% is equals to 1.0. Device width means the viewport that is contained within your particular device, and it contains the whole width. Okay. Apart from this name, another important things we have that you can define the HTTP equivalents, right? So for that, refresh. Okay. So now these are the protocol define some content you can define. So in this, content is equals to 5. So what does it mean? That after every 5 seconds, your page is going to be refreshed, right? So as we have click info and all that sites, right? So after some delay, automatically that page is going to be refreshed, right? Yes, you can define this kind of stuff by writing only one line to that. So if you set this value, then after every 5 seconds, your page is going to be refreshed, right? The next important thing is you can define the content type, right? So what is the content type? So content type is equals to text slash HTML, text slash plain, right? So whatever MIME types we have discussed in our previous session, so all that can be your content type. In that, what I want to define, okay, by my character set is UTF-8. So right now it is by UTF-8 is there, as I discussed earlier, but for previous browsers that the default value will be a different one, right? So I forgot the name of that because it's very lengthy, right? So you can just go to the internet and search for that default type. But right now we are using the particular UTF-8, right? So you can see, guys, these are the possible attributes you can define within a particular head section. And these are very useful for the search engine optimizations and all the search engines for the searching, right? So now, if you see the output of this particular, you can say, program, so output will be only the body section. So we have only headings, right? Because whatever we are defining in that, that is not the displayable area. right? But it is useful for the search engines. Okay, so I hope you all are clear with the meta tag. I have put all the possible values, whatever you can set over here. If anything is remaining, then according to our requirement, we can use it, right? But this is just for the explanation. What is meta tag, right? Detailed explanation of the meta tag. Okay, now after that, text formatting tags we have. So in our laboratory session, we have already discussed about the text formatting tags, right? So we are not going to discuss it again, but here H1 to H6 we have. Then we have a paragraph tag. Okay, so these are the levels. We have also discussed about the horizontal rule. Okay, HR attributes and HR tag, and within the HR tag we have also discussed the width, size, and no shade attribute, color attribute, right? So that can be easily understood by each and everyone because you have also practiced on that. Okay, here I have also put the example how you can use the particular you can say text formatting tags, address tag. Okay, right? So this is a very simple tag. If I want to define the address, right, then address tag will provide some predefined style. It's normally in italic, right? So if you put this address in a body section, then it just display the particular italic versions of this text, right? Here BR tag you have to use for a new line. So if you want to print a new line, then just go for the BR tag. After that, we have also discussed all these tags in our laboratory session, right? So bold, italic, citation, subscript, and the superscript. Pre-tag we have also discussed, right? So if you want to put a code snips kind of thing, right? So at that time, so here I have put one example that if you want to print this like Java code, then you just go for it, predefined tag, right? Okay. Now let's discuss division tag and a span tag. So you can just get the idea, right? So here you can see that division tag defines a division or a section in HTML document, right? So it is known as the structuring element. Okay. Now division tag is used to group block elements to format them with the CSS, right? So normally what we are writing, we are using division tag to make a sections division of our page. Like suppose say for example, this is my web page. Okay, and I want to define. I want to divide this web page in a 3 sections. This is 1, 2, and 3. This is my first division. This is my second division, and this is my third division. Right? So you can see over here. If I want to make this as a blue, or whatever predefined styles, then I can do that. I can change red, I can put it in a green. So this is my particular web page, and I have divided this particular web page in a 3 sections. I can do anything with these 3 sections. Different designs I can put, different elements I can put, right? And applying a particular style according to my section. So division 1, 2, and 3, right? So these are the block level elements such as section, division, H1, paragraph that normally deals with line break before and after their content. That's why it is known as the block level elements, right? And by default, browsers always place a line break before and after the division element. Okay. Now, align attribute specifies the alignment of the content inside division element, but it is not supported in HTML5, right? So as we discussed earlier, some of the attributes, some of the tags are not really useful in HTML5 version because it's a very neat and clean version of the HTML5, right? So they have removed. But if you put, browsers are supporting that. But if you are going to validate your document, right, on some specific versions, right? So at that time, in a validation, it will provide you the error or warning. Okay, right? So I will also teach you that how you can validate your documents. By this particular document is validate for HTML5 version. It is validated for 4 version, right? So that kind of validations you can make with the third-party tools. Okay, so this is about the division element. After discussing span element, we'll see one example, right? So this is a span tag. So here, span tag is used to group inline elements in a document, right? So whatever inline elements are there, so that can be grouped within this span tag. And inline level elements are does not change the flow of content as we discussed, right? Difference. It is a phrasing kind. It is a phrasing kind, right? Yeah, whereas block level is normally with the flow kind, right? Okay, so inline level element does not change the flow of element in the document. And examples of some of the inline elements can be the span, image, anchor, em, and strong, right? So these are the inline elements you can use. By default, span does not apply any formatting to its content and provides no visual change by default. Okay, right? So if you put a span tag, text will be same as it is. If you don't put the span tag, also the text will be the same, right? But later on, you can use it in some different purposes, for some different purposes. So the span tag provides a way to add a hook to a part of text or a part of a document, right? And the primary purpose is to apply CSS rules or ID attributes to a section of a text, right? So suppose if I am writing a span, this is my formatting, right? And I want to apply CSS to this particular content, right? So I just go for a span tag. Okay, so how you can use, don't worry, it is very easy. When we learn about CSS, then I will tell you, right? But remember this, if you want to apply this kind of total styling to the contents, then you can just go for a span tag. So wherever you have used span tag, then you can apply the style. Or if you want to go for a specific styling for specific span, then you just go for ID attributes, right? So with the use of it, you just use the particular division and span tag, right? So here I have put the example. So let's see this example in a real time. So here you can see that, okay. Where is, what happens? Okay. So here, okay. So let's first of all see the individual version. All right. So here in this particular example, first one H3 tag is there, right? Then I have two span tags. So one span, and here is the second span. After that, I am providing different style to some words. So web technology and programming. Okay. So web technology, and so for this, I have provided this style. Right now, forget about this. And if you want, then it is very easy to understand. With the style attribute, you can apply the inline. This is known as the inline CSS, right? So with this style attribute, you can apply the style to HTML elements. Use colon 1.5 em, and here font family is equals to the name of the font. Similarly, here you can see I have provided the background color as this and mixture of these particular colors, right? So let's see the output of this. Okay, so here you can see that background and the foreground color, the text color, right? You can differentiate between this. So background color is denoted by the background dash color and text color will be denoted by simple color. So you can see this is span tag, okay, and this is again a span tag. So for individual particular lines, you can just go for it. Okay. The second thing is, this is very easy, right? You can define different stylings according to the span. Okay. Let's go for division tag. So suppose this is our list. Okay. Later on, we'll discuss in our lecture. So this is a list. What I want this kind of output, right? So you can see this is a list, January to December, right? But around that, there is a one square that is your actual, that is your division, that is your section, right? In this, I want to apply the border style and the background color. So background color is your pink color. Then you can just go for border color as the crimson color, and the text color is the slate blue color, right? So what happens over here? So this particular style is applied to this division. So you can see if I copy paste this, okay, then it will create a second section, right? But in this particular section, instead of this pink color, I want to just go for this color. So now you can see this. Okay, so this way you can divide the things in a section wise, right? And you can apply a specific styles to that, right? So this is about the division tag and a particular span tag, right? Now suppose if I want to go for the combination of both, right? So I'm going to use division and span tag together. So here you can see that we have two different spans, okay? And here we have a division tag, okay? So what is the difference over here? Similarly, I have applied a span and I have applied a style to some specific words, right? So this internet and web will be in a blue color, right? And similarly, here within a division tag, we have a blue color, right? So if you see the output of this, then you can just imagine, right? Okay, what happened over here, that whatever span you have written, right? So all that written in a single line, see over here. So what is our flow of the content? Web development, client side. Then I have put a span because I want to make this internet as a blue color. So here you can notice that. And span web programming. So it's like a phrase, right? So it's a one kind of phrase, right? But what happens over here, remember this, whenever you are using a division tag and when you close it, then the next thing will be start from the new line. So this thing you have to remember because it decides the flow of your control, flow of your web page, right? So here the same line is there, right? But what happens after this web development, a new line will be started because it's a division block, right? So whenever you are using with these two things together, then you just need to remember, right? Sometimes we know the meaning of each and everything, but then also sometimes we stuck at somewhere. Why this happens? Why this particular thing is not displaying in a proper way or that kind of stuff? Okay, guys, right? So this way you can go for the division tag and a span tag. Okay, now let's go for the next thing. Okay, so image is a little bit, you can say, wider, right? In that, I want to discuss 2 3 points. So we are going to discuss that thing in our next session, right? So I'm going to end this session over here, right?